hello everyone, and welcome to this audio podcast. This audio podcast is part of the Lab Coat. This audio podcast is part of the Storm and Geronimo. This audio podcast is part of a N Ostix and Chronicle. This audio podcast is part of the Click. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production. In this audio podcast, I look at a summary in and around works by Mohammed and team from 2018. From around 2018, a publication looking at service evaluation for young people with kidney disease or CKD, chronic kidney disease. And in around the summary, so in amongst the literature, there have been varying sort of evidence, in around some of the sort of challenges in around adult kidney care and kidney care services, and where there have been works published in around sort of the sort of socioeconomic aspects, some of the socioeconomic aspects in around sort of kidney care or kidney care services in sort of the in amongst the sort of majority population, and so amongst this through this publication there have been an investigation in how the care for young patients, pediatrics and young patients could be better. And the publication was sort of notable because it looks to highlight some of the importance of sort of service evaluation in young people, pediatrics and young people with chronic kidney disease. And the collaborative works and the collaborative publication looks to highlight some epidemiological data and some basic data in around sort of in around and across healthcare services for pediatrics and young people in amongst chronic kidney disease. The publication was sort of an initial investigation, initial investigation that looked at in amongst again sort of pediatrics and young people, as opposed to the adult healthcare adult kidney care population. And the publication also sought to inform in around that a sort of an evaluation or framework could aid sort of decision makers or policy makers, for example, as to how to see sort of better or sort of smarter healthcare services for CKD patients, pediatrics and young people, CKD recipients. That draws this audio podcast to a close. This audio podcast is part of the Lab Coat. This audio podcast as part of Storm and Geronimo. This audio podcast is part of a N Ostix and Chronicle. This audio podcast is part of the Click. This audio podcast as part of a ZtormLabostix production.